How's it going, guys? I hope you're having a great day. I completed the half Ironman. Today is Thursday, so it's been a little less than a week since I've completed it. My legs are still recovering, and it was probably one of the coolest things that I've ever done. And I'm just gonna tell you the whole story, start to finish, how it all went, do a little recap about it. So I woke up at 5:15 a.m. and I immediately had just a piece of bread and some almond butter. There was no toaster in the hotel, so I couldn't toast it. And I had some coffee. I needed to get a bowel movement out before I hit the race, because that would have not been fun to have that happen while I'm racing. So I did that, and then my parents dropped me off at the drop-off location, and then I met up with Jack and his mom, and so we walked over to the transition one. And at this point, it's like probably around 6 a.m., close to 6 a.m. It's still completely dark out, and it's freezing cold, by the way. Everyone's wearing gloves, beanies, hoodies. It's absolutely cold, and plus the wind chill, so it's even colder. And so everyone goes to their bikes, gets their bag, lays out all their stuff. People are like starting to put on their wetsuit. Some aren't, obviously, because the swim doesn't start for another 30 or 45 minutes. I didn't put my wetsuit on yet. I was kind of talking to the people to the left and right of me, just sort of making conversation. Jack's number was right after mine, so his bike was literally right in front of me, so we were together. Laid up the running shoes, then the cycling shoes on top, got the socks. I got the swim cap, and the swim cap that they gave me at the athletic registration, which was sick. Then after a while of kind of just standing around, I ended up putting my wetsuit on. The guy next to me had some sunscreen, because he told me that the past triathlons that he had done, he'd gotten brutally sunburnt, and so I didn't have sunscreen, and he was like, yeah, just use some. So I put some on my shoulders. I put my wetsuit on. The pros lined up, which was sick. Me and Jack walked over to the area where they were about to go into the water, and we saw Lionel Sanders and some other pros.
Warm coffee? Latte?
I'm kind of scared. I don't know. No, it's all right.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
How you doing?
Pretty good. It's going to be so fucking cold.
You already look chilled. You're okay? Yeah, it's cold.
But sunrise is at 6:30, and we go on at 6:50.
Yeah.
So the sun
you'll
will
be
be
able
out.
to see. Yeah, and you'll start doing some warm-ups, right? How come you're not in your wetsuit? Everyone's got their wetsuits
I
on.
don't need to be in that yet.
Everyone else is.
No?
Anyway, okay.
I'll be all right. Cannon shot off for that, so they all started first. And then there was a huge line, and there were increments and like groups of people who thought they were going to finish the swim in certain amounts of time. There was like the 25 to 30 minutes, 35 to 40, and whatnot. So me and Jack walked through all of them to, I think, around the 30-minute one. He's a better swimmer than me. He finished the swim before me. But we got to start quicker, and the sun is out at this point. It's like peeking out. So there's some light, but it's not like super bright yet, and it's still cold. Honestly, the wind's blowing even more at this point. So people are walking in, we're like, oh, like we're riled up, like we're ready to go. I go in front of him. There's like lines of 5 groups, and they let 5 people in every 5 seconds. So it's just like boom, 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 start swimming. And so I got in, and it was freezing. The water was 57 degrees, plus the wind, obviously. And so I start swimming, and the first maybe few minutes are fine. It's like, oh, unfortunately, obviously, I can't see in the water because it's a harbor. The wetsuit made me a lot more buoyant, and obviously it's salt water. So I'm swimming, and then people start catching up, and I'm getting like hit with legs and arms, and I'm like claustrophobic about it because I'm not used to swimming with that happening. That kind of bugged me, and I kind of had to like look up every once in a while and just see where I was compared to other people, so I wasn't smacking people. But no one cared. Like, everyone was just trying to get through the swim, and no one cared about you or like anyone else. It's kind of every man for himself. It was fine. I was just keeping myself calm. I told myself I was just going to use the swim as a warm-up because I didn't want to overexhaust my energy before the bike or the run. And so I was swimming, and about a little over halfway through, I start kind of like unconsciously like freaking out. I don't really know why. I think it might be because of the pressure of the tri-suit and the wetsuit, plus my goggles got foggy, so I couldn't really see where I was going, and there were people on paddle boards yelling like, oh, like go this way, because some people were going off course. And then I started throwing up, but I didn't have anything to throw up, but it was just the physical reaction of like, like, bro, I don't know how I'm going to keep going. If this is already happening, I'm not even done with the swim yet. I was almost like, I can't do this. But I just took a minute and I was floating there for like probably 30 seconds. And then the feeling went away. I was just like, all right, just like keep going, keep swimming. And I finally finished the swim and I got out and I was super like dizzy. I don't know why, but I was kind of like going to the side and one of the volunteers helped me like unstrap the thing off the wetsuit. So we did that. And then he had to run back down this like whole like row basically in order to go to the back end of the transition area and then find your bike. And there were some people down there that were helping take wetsuits off. And my mom was like, oh, my mom was down there. I didn't know she was going to be down there. And she was like, oh, like let this guy help take your wetsuit off. And she was like saying the same thing. And I was like, chill out for a minute because I was just all scrambled. And I got it pretty much all the way off except for like 1 foot. I was having trouble getting it off. I think because I had the ankle bracelet on and the wetsuit had to like go over that. And it was just, I didn't have the energy to get it. So I just sat down and he kind of pulled it off my leg. And then after that, I like picked up my wetsuit, ran to my bike, set it down, immediately like my swim cap and goggles were already off. So I just set that down and then I put my socks on and then I put the shoes on and I had gloves that I had brought because the day before at the athletic briefing, one of the announcers said that it's going to be cold and you should bring gloves because it's going to take a long time for you to warm up. So I just brought some black like liner gloves and I was trying to put them on, but my fingers weren't moving. I was getting so pissed. Like they literally weren't doing it. So I just had to like bite it and just like try and squeeze them on. And that took way more time than it should have, which was super frustrating. But then I got my like sunglasses on, got the helmet, got my bike. And then I started running with the bike. You can't get on it yet immediately. So you run with it to a certain point and then you can get on. And I had 2 bottle cages and then I had a hand pump in case I got a flat. So I was biking and then about 30 feet into the bike, like right at the turn, one of my bottle cages just breaks off and I'm so lost because it's literally never happened. And so instinctively I like get off my bike and like turn around and get it, but everyone's like biking like my direction and they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I'm like, oh shit, like my bad. So I kind of like scramble and pick up the bottle and I'm like, all right, that's like done for. Like the literal screws are like broken off. So I'm like, okay, there's no way I'm gonna fix this. I just like toss it to the side, and then I get back on, and then the hand pump breaks off, and I was like, wow, like I better not get a flat or I'm screwed. So I only have 1 water bottle and it's filled with 2 scoops of G1M Sport. And then I had, the one that broke off was just the pure water one. So I was kind of bummed, but there were aid stations with water that you could like grab and do that. So I ended up doing that regardless. But I started biking and I was like, okay, like this is good. Like I'm warming up from the cold swim. Like this is fine. And I'm still going up the coast. And there's this one part where you kind of go inland and then do a U-turn and then go back up the coast. I actually saw Jack at that one point. He was passing me. He was ahead. He was a fucking beast. But it was fine going up the coast. And then once I got into Camp Pendleton, it was beautiful. It was just like green hills, like hills. The first hill was literally like, boom. It was probably like a 45-degree angle for, I'd say about 15 minutes worth of biking. And then I got around halfway up it. And then I had to just get off my bike and walk because it was almost more efficient to walk instead of bike. And like everyone that were still on the bikes were in the lowest gear, just like boom, boom, boom. And they were like barely moving like an inch with each like pedal. It was ridiculous. And I thought that was going to be the worst of it. And so I get back on the bike and then there's this huge drop you just go down. Like after every hill, there's just like, you just like bomb a hill. You're just like going for it. I did that. And then I'd say maybe 10 or 15 miles later, there's this super like, it's not steep, but it's just long. It's like goes from here and it's like for like a long period of time. And from like a ways out, you can see like the little like people, like they're obviously they're not little, but the people biking up and they're just like barely like moving. And I was like, oh my God, like this sucks. And then the only way that I could get my mind to like not freak out while doing that and get super exhausted was to just start counting. And so I thought of a number, literally any number that just popped into my head. And with every 2 pedals, I would just count. So I'd be like 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, like just counting, something for my mind to do amidst this like pain. So I would do that whenever I would go up another hill. And then there was a few more, but for the most part, the bike ride was like really pretty, aside from how painful it was. It was just like lush green, like land and hills. And then on the final like turn to start going back the direction to the transition area to get the shoes, I didn't know it was going to be all uphill. So I biked and I was like, oh, like finally, like there's some cars driving, like there's some buildings, like we're getting close. And it's just a steady uphill for like 15 miles. And I was like, wow. And at that point, I was honestly just telling myself, don't think about anything, just keep moving. Like, don't think, just move. And that was probably the hardest part of the race. The bike was most definitely like mentally and physically the hardest. And finally I got to the running area, and there were already people running, obviously. There were people zooming past me on the bike the whole time with like $10,000 worth of like biking gear and bikes and helmets and like the teardrop looking helmet. So sick. But obviously like my gear does not stand a chance against that. And these people have probably been doing it for like years. Anyways, besides the point. Got to the transition area, took off all my stuff, got my running shoes on. I was so thankful. I was like, finally, it's the run. It's the last portion. Like, this is what I'm good at. I'm probably the I'm probably the best at running compared to biking and swimming. And I was like, all right, this is gonna be a breeze. Like, I'll just keep it zone 2, like steady pace. I'll just get it done. I started off pretty strong. I was going, if I remember my split correctly, I think I started off with around like a 6:30, and then like it slowly went to like 7 minutes. But my average over the whole time of the run was 8 minutes 10. Like I finished with like an 8:10 average pace, which is pretty great. So I was running, and the run loop was like you go down this long area and you come back, and then you run down, and then when you're coming back, there's like a sort of part you just keep going, and then there's the finish line. So it's like you don't go all the way back, there's like halfway. I was running, and it was honestly so sick because everyone's on the sidelines of the run like cheering you on, like, yeah, let's go. People have signs up, people have speakers like blasted music. Like the energy is so much better because on the bike you were going through a literal military base and there was no one around you, and it's just you in your head like, oh my god, I have 30 miles left, like don't think about that. But anyways, it was much easier mentally on the run. It was cool. I started talking to some dude like next to me. He was like, oh, like you're doing great, like you're killing it, whatever. Everyone's super like supportive. And there was a lot of aid stations, which was nice. There were aid stations handing out like water, cups of ice, like half of bananas, some orange peels, some like Diet Coke, I think. I didn't take any of that. I was mostly just downing some like half banana slices, honestly. I was just like, I don't know how much energy I have left in the tank, and my legs are hurting at this point. Like my thighs were, every step was just like pain. It was just like, oh, like ow. And especially the last 4 miles, it was brutal. Like I wanted to walk so bad, but I was telling myself like I did not come this far to just walk. So I was running, and it was probably pretty slow. It was definitely not as fast as when I started running. I started off drinking like probably I would get 2 cups of water and I would drink one and then kind of just like drink the other. But then after that, I realized I probably shouldn't be drinking too much water because I don't want to get a cramp. So I would just sort of have a sip of water, and then with the other one I would just like splash my face with it, or if there was a cup of ice I would just like open up my tri-suit and like dump it on like each side so the ice would kind of stay on the sides, and then I'd pull my back and then dump some ice back there to just keep my body like cool, because at this point it's like midday almost, or yeah, no, definitely it's like 12 o'clock, 12 something. So the sun's out and it's hot and there's not much wind on the run. Probably close to the end I started getting a cramp because I didn't realize I had just probably had a total of like 2 bananas worth of food on the run, and so I got a cramp and my legs were hurting. But once I got down this little hill and then it was just straight to the finish line, I could see like the little thing where the finish line is. I was like, oh my god, like I'm so close, like I'm this is insane. And so I looked at it, I knew it was there, and then I kind of just like was looking at the beach like, don't really think about anything right now, you're almost there, you're getting there. And then the last probably like 0.62 miles, I just like sprinted like everything I had in the tank. I started zooming, and it was so sick because that was where most of the people were crowded, like around the finish line, like the spectators, and they were all like, Yeah, I mean, for everyone, they were like screaming, but it felt so cool to like be the one that they were screaming for at that moment, and it just like gave me even more energy. And there was this person that was about to finish, and she was kind of like doing a short little jog, like, yeah, like, how, you know, waving to people, like smiling, and then I just like come in, just bah, just like sprinting right behind her, and I went right through the finish line, and and I didn't hear it in the moment, but my mom took a video, and the announcer was like, "Oh, like here comes Gunnar Keelan, like gunning down the last like portion or something like that, like some play on words." It's pretty funny. But yeah, I finished, and I just like low-key stumbled, like I like went on the ground, and I was like, "Oh." I couldn't believe, I was honestly in shock after I did that, and you know they put the medal on you and take off your ankle monitor. Like there's a bunch of volunteers that are helping you out, and it's super crowded. A lot of people have finished. Anyways, my goal was to finish under 6.5, and I got 5:57. So I was really happy about that, and I think I got a PR in my biking too. I did 3 hours 28 minutes on the for the bike portion. And then for the swim, I did it in 38 minutes. But that's also because I had to stop a few times and I was throwing up. So if I didn't have that, I probably would have finished a little bit faster. Yeah, it was great. Afterwards, I got a burrito. They had some food, free food. And then I went back to the hotel and basically just like showered and chilled out. It was extremely surreal. I think it was one of the coolest things. And the coolest thing that I took away from this is that I can now like tell myself that I'm going to do something and like put in the work and then do it and like get it done. So now I'm like, I'm training for a high rocks now, but it's just like, what else can I do now? Like I want to try and work towards even bigger goals. Like I'm going to eventually do another half Ironman and probably try and place. And now that I sort of understand what it's actually like now that I've done one, I don't think I'm going to be as nervous or like anxious or like worried or confused about how things work. Like it'll go a lot smoother. And then eventually, not anytime soon, I'm going to do a full Ironman, but that's going to be a while. But yeah, that's it for the recap. I'm going to start posting some high rocks training videos. This week, I'm mostly swimming just for like some active recovery for my legs. They're not completely healed yet. And next week on Monday, I'm going to start actually doing some high rocks training. So yeah, I'll see you guys then.